So let me get you up to speed. A couple weeks ago, I hired Gulfstream to help me hardwire some different electronics, specifically 2 bilge pumps that I had placed in this boat. When they came onto the boat, they reported that they heard the bilge running, but it wasn't pumping any water. So through a little bit of investigation, we checked, and what happens is on the main bilge with the deep well, there had been some paint chips from when this boat was being sold. They threw some paint on. They didn't prep the bilge at all, so it immediately boiled up, and so that left large paint chips in the bottom of my bilge. And unfortunately, I didn't get it cleaned up as well as I should have. Anyway, so what had happened is the bilge had sucked up some of those flakes, and it had stopped up the diaphragm. We got it clean and got it to pump again, but the problem repeated itself again. And so you'll see in the short that I'm going to show right now.
Yesterday I was on the boat and I found my bilge full of water, and that was a bit surprising because I heard the bilge pump running and I wasn't exactly sure why. So it was running and not pumping water. So I went ahead and felt the pump. It was hot. It's a diaphragm pump that's behind the seat. So it has to pump up water probably about 2 foot and then pumps it overboard. So it has to work pretty hard to get that water out of there. But anyways, it was running and not pumping. So what I did is I got the bilge manually emptied, and then I let it all dry out. I came back today to find out what was wrong. So it's a diaphragm pump, and as I started pulling it apart, you see this little right here, a little electrical fitting had fallen into the deep well of the bilge, and it got hung up in the diaphragm. And yeah, so this little piece could have sunk my boat. That's crazy. So that's another important reason to keep your bilge absolutely clean and tidy. And then, don't leave your boat for long periods of time, because, this could have got out of hand because my AC condensate drains into the main bilge. And it's about 5 gallons a day, so it wouldn't take long before you could flood a boat.
You see how a small electrical piece can create a huge issue. So while I'd got it cleaned up and got the major stuff out, there was that little bit electrical fitting that once again had found its way into the bilge pump diaphragm and hung up in the check valve. That let the pump run for an extended time, and I think it's actually burned up because it is actually running, but it doesn't pump any water. And so I ordered a new bilge pump and been waiting on that to come in so I can get it replaced. But just this morning I took a phone call from the marina, and kudos to the Corpus Christi Marina staff, because they were doing their tours last night and walking through and said, hey, we hear your bilge pump running, but it's not pumping any water. You might want to check it out. We don't see any issues with the boat. But I was really grateful to them to have that conversation with me. It makes me feel better. I know they walk the docks, and I know they're looking for big stuff. For them to notice that the pump was running and not pumping water, they actually stopped and investigated, and I think that's really important for vessel owners that want to take the best care of their boat possible. So anyways, I'd already received the bilge pump in, and I was just waiting on it to come in. But right now it's Christmas Eve, and so it's been Christmas week. We've had a couple different events to attend, so it's not been a priority, but because I had turned off the aircon so that the AC condensate wasn't draining into the bilge, so I didn't see there being any big problems in the immediate future without a catastrophic through-hole failure or something like that. And I knew I could buy a couple days. Probably not the smartest decision, but playing a time deal because I didn't have time to come out and change it. So after taking that phone call today, it was just a stark reminder that I need to get down here and fix it as soon as possible. So anyways, I have that now. We're going to get it changed out. And sure enough, I heard the bilge running when I walked up, and you'll see this clip right here. Just testing to see which one of my bilges it is. So that's going to be the forward deep well bilge. All right, you can see that I was able to identify which bilge pump is running, and it's actually moving. There's some air moving through it, so there's something that's actually working. So now I'm starting to think maybe that float valve is shorted out down there, and it's turning on and off, or not. It's turning on and not turning off. So I might have to replace that. Good thing is that's another fairly easy fix, but it doesn't fix my problem right now that it's just going to run this new pump continuously. All right, so at least let me get this new bilge installed so that we can have that in place, and I could even run down to West Marine here today and replace that float valve. All right, let's go down below and see what we're digging into. All right, this is where we're working today. We have a freshwater pump and an accumulator, which I recently replaced. You might have seen that in a previous video.
And let's angle the camera up so you can see better. Up here is the diaphragm pump, here's the intake, and on the other side is the discharge. The only issue I see, there's not a lot of space for the new pump, which seems quite a bit larger. Alright, let's dive in and see if we can get this replaced. I've chosen to go with Seaflow on several of the new pumps that I've recently installed on the boat. They have an extensive warranty and the reviews are fairly decent. Of course there's some bad reviews out there, but there's also a lot of people that mention that they had some really good luck with Seapro products. The price point is exactly where I'm comfortable, but I made the choice based on the warranty. This one has a 4-year warranty, and it would be nice to simply exchange it for a new one if there's ever an issue in the next 4 years. I'm not sure I need it, but here's the new pump, and as I mentioned, it's significantly larger than the original. And I just noticed, Blake with Gulfstream already installed the 3-position switch for the secondary bilge pump. And with that, I also have a new high water alarm. Mike noticed this and recommended an alarm on the survey. So I'm really excited because an audible alert might help me to know that something else bigger is going on.
William's looking at the float valve to see if that's part of the issue.
It's not turning off no matter what position I put the float valve in. So while we're fixing the bilge issue, that pump may be good because we saw the air movement there. When I put my finger, it was actually pushing out some air, so it's moving stuff. But I have a new pump, so let's go ahead and replace it. I think that's a smart decision. And so we'll run down to West Marine, get a new float valve, get that changed out, and hopefully have this all fixed up. And we should, because there's really nothing else. We have new through hole, new hose, all the way over here, high water alarm. And actually, this is what they were installing. I did a secondary. So what you have here is a float valve down in the deep well. These are lines from the freezer and the AC condensate and a couple other items. This is a secondary. So if it makes it out of the deep well, it gets to here. And as you can see, I haven't got it plumbed in yet. But this is the secondary bilge. So if that one fails or something happens, it'll actually start pumping water. And so everything's replaced. And this is a high water alarm. Water makes it to here. We're going to get an audible alarm that not only will you hear the alarm here at the nav station, but you also hear at the helm.
I really like these style connectors right here. All you do is push the locking pin from the back side and slide forward. And that's it. Boom, the hose is disconnected. These are super nice. Pull it and done. Look at that. In a matter of 5 seconds, both hoses are disconnected. Now all I need to do is take out these screws that are mounting it to the board and disconnect the wires. It's spinning, but it won't come out. Seems like the threads are locking it in. While the pump came out quite easily, I'm struggling to get this barb out of the hose. You can see that the ends are threaded and they just screwed it in and then used a couple of these hose clamps to secure it. And while that worked, I'm having a lot of trouble getting those undone. So I'm resorting to a heat gun. Let's try to heat this up and see if we can get the plastic and hose just pliable enough that I can get the barb out. I don't have a lot of extra hose, so I don't have the option to cut them off because I don't think there's enough slack to make up the 3 or 4 inches that I'd lose by cutting.
It's moving. There we go. All right. Perfect. Well, that worked without damaging the hose. I don't think I damaged the integrity of it. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I thought I could use my drill, but I can't get in there, and I don't have all my tools from home where I would have an extension of this Phillips. So I'm going to have to manually push this in using my screwdriver wherever it's at. All right, let's try again. And still, even that is going to be really difficult. Really thankful to have this box. I got just a bunch of electrical fittings, and these are all shrink wrap. And on top of that, I have an additional shrink wrap that goes over the top of it to make sure I have as close to waterproof fittings as possible. I don't want that to be my point of failure because of moisture getting in. It's still not a perfect system, but it certainly will help out.
I love to be organized, and you'll see here that I have a kit of heat shrink in several different sizes to fit most wires and connectors to get a snug fit each time. Not only do I use heat shrink connectors, but I also place a second heat shrink over the fitting when I'm finished, providing an extra barrier to avoid water or moisture intrusion over these electrical connections. There it goes. You can see it starting to shrink. Now the second barrier. I need to make sure I have the butt connector in the middle. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's shrink it and move on to the next one.
That's a really good looking connection right there. We're gonna make it even stronger. Oh, that's hot. Who knew that holding a heat gun to it was gonna heat it up? Well, that's taking me by surprise. Here's the float switch I have at $55. I like this one because it has a top shroud, so it's impact resistance, and a lot of those lines come right down towards the top, and they could actually pin it down so that it couldn't float. So I like that at $76. And then we have a heavy duty, something called a super switch, which is just kind of an average bilge pump on, a float valve, float switch on steroids. So I think I'm going to go with this one at $75, but I was thinking this was going to be, $20 or $30 because there's not a lot to a float switch. But because it's a marine and it's involved with the boat, take out the checkbook, get ready. It's going to hurt. All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Got it. If you look down there, I still have quite a bit of debris that I need to get cleaned out before I install the new float switch. We spent some time doing this last week and concentrated on cleaning the paint chips out of the bilge. We pulled out a ton of debris, but apparently there's still more down there. So let's work on this and get everything out of the way and get it 100% clean before we move forward. Yeah, look at this nastiness right here. Wow, it's just dirt and grime, but you still don't want that stuff running through your pump. It looks like there's some deeper flakes down there, but it's just the texture of the painted fiberglass, and it's not as bad as it looks. It's just grime. It does look bad, but it's not too horrible. I can see the line of paint where we repainted the bilge, which shows that we didn't go down to the bottom of the deep well. We didn't because there was a little bit of water sitting down there. Unfortunately, the water was hiding debris sitting at the bottom of the bilge that we couldn't see. We didn't worry about it too much at the time because the bilge always holds a small amount of water because it catches the AC condensate. Well, we found one small issue, but I'm not going to let it stop me. The base of the new float switch is a lot bigger, and if you look closely, you'll notice a 1/2-inch platform on one end, which is where the original valve was mounted. I was able to get one side into the forward screw hole, but that leaves a gap under the aft portion of the float valve because the raised platform is not big enough. I'm not comfortable drilling into the bottom of the deep well just to place a second screw. And I know the keel is below the bilge, but as I said, I'm not comfortable drilling in this area. If it was a stinger, I wouldn't have a problem, but it's at the bottom of the deep well, and I don't know the thickness of the fiberglass or what's on the other side. Anyways, I'm just not going to take a chance. I have one screw in, and it seems really secure, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere. As long as it stays in place and it doesn't float up when there's water in the bilge, we should be okay. And that's how you make a proper electrical connection on a boat. So what I'm doing here is trying to manage the extra wire because I want to keep everything in the bilge organized. All I'm doing is wrapping the wire around a screwdriver without kinking the wire. And you'll see here shortly that I'll have a coiled wire. The better option is to keep the wires shorter and no longer than they need to be, but this is a quick little fix to use in a pinch. So now you can see that it's easier to just route the wires around here and they're out of the way.
All right, let's do our final test. When I turn on this automatic bilge, we shouldn't hear anything. Nope, it's not running. So, and then when I come on to on, there we go. I hear it trying to pull some water. There must be some water in the line. Perfect, that's what I need. So now we can confidently leave it in the auto position and it can monitor the bilge while I'm away and work as it's supposed to. Here's our old
diaphragm pump. I'm not sure if it's bad or not. I don't trust it, so that speaks volumes. And down here, here's the remnants of the old float valve. So just dirty and torn up, and you can see here, see this little end cap, it's a little ear right there that was holding the float part on, and that wasn't the problem, but there's your actual switch. You can see this, and it's got a lot of corrosion and water intrusion. So anyways, again, I think that was probably our main culprit out of all this, but now the system's been completely replaced. I have a full suite of C-Pro pumps that are managing my boat. All right, we have the bilge all completed, and we are off here to enjoy what's left of Christmas Eve. So we want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas. I think we're in the lower to mid 80s, but you gotta love the coast at Christmas time.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching till the end and following my journey, one adventure at a time. If you like this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Your engagement really helps the algorithm show my videos to a broader audience. Alright, I'll see you next time.